ever have a time where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend?
Yes, plenty of times actually. But I'm going to just talk about this at one time. I had this friend, we was friends for like 10 years before I knew that she really did not like me. And all I remember was like every time we would hang out, her energy did start to change. But I ignored it. So as time went on, everybody kept on telling me that she really did not like me. And she would say hating things about me. Like we could be in the same room, and the minute that we go our separate ways, somebody coming to me telling me she could not stand me. So I was ignoring it up until the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. And I asked her what was her problem, because we never had an argument or nothing. And she simply told me that I was not her cup of tea. Like she said, I don't you're just not my cup of tea. After being friends for 10 years, this secret comes out. But I came to my own conclusion that she always been jealous of me. That's just what it was. Like, wow.
Did you ever have a time where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend?
So this is a recent thing that has happened, and it took me a minute to figure it out, but I finally did. So there's a coworker that I did consider a pretty good friend, you know, someone who I would go have lunch with, someone I would say hello to in the morning, someone I would make sure is not staying here too late in the evening when contract time ends, because, you know, teachers. And I recently reassessed our relationship, and I realized that I was putting a lot in, but she wasn't. So I conducted a social experiment with this person. I stopped putting in effort. I stopped initiating conversations. I stopped going to her room and having lunch. And I just watched and saw what happened. And what happened was she didn't care. She didn't react in any way at all. She didn't, like, you know, come up and ask me, are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, are you good? Are we good? None of that. So I'm like, I guess sometimes the trash really does take itself out.
Where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend?
Yep. Let me tell you what happened. So my husband abandoned me and my 8-year-old daughter. I was stuck, y'all, in Texas. $1,750 rent. I was $8,000 in the hole, y'all. I had just quit my job to start my new business. Go figure. This was the perfect opportunity for this man to fuck me over, and he did. Now, my friend on the time, who I thought was my best friend, she saw everything that went on. She knew that we were about to be evicted and in a shelter. You know what she proceeded to tell me? Backstory. I know she had money saved up, and she had a big ass house that she could put us in. But when family came over, you best believe they was spending the night. But when it came to me and my daughter, her goddaughter, it was a no. I was at my lowest, y'all. And she straight ghosted me. She said it was too much to handle. How you think I felt? Definitely not a friend now.
Ever have a time where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend?
So, I was working at the local Jet Cash. Good money, but really no growth. I applied for the local university. I got it. Within 4 weeks, friends started dropping. Even though the benefit was in the benefits and not the pay. But because of the environment, I knew I needed to do something else. Associate's degree, friends started dropping. Bachelor's degree, friends started dropping. Master's degree, friends started dropping. So the only friends that I have now are the friends that I met along the way who was really striving to do something different, or the friends, which is very, very few, who wanted to see me succeed, who knew I can do it, who had real faith in me. So, yeah, that's when I see my friends started dropping, when they wanted me to stay in a place that was beneath them. Yep. Do you believe that?
Did you ever have a time where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend?
Oh, absolutely. Once I moved from New York to Philadelphia, I realized I really didn't have real friends. Because I realized that when it was time for them to try new things, they would call me and I would always be down, right? But whenever it was my turn, especially that I live, nothing but 2 hours away, everyone had excuses. I would log online and see people going partying every weekend, drinking every weekend, but y'all can't take a 2-hour trip to come see your so-called friend. I found that very suspicious, and it was quite disheartening at the same time, but it is what it is. Now I am a proud loner. I'm not even really sure that I want friends anymore, because all the experiences have just been fucking strange.
Did you ever have a time where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend?
Like, I'm honestly really trying to narrow it down to one particular story, but they all seem to be similar.
Because when I sit here and think about like different females that I was cool with in the past, and I actually started thinking about, you know, why we stopped being friends, the whole falling out or the distancing, trying to sum it all up, I always end up with the same thought, like, them bitches just didn't like me. Like, boiled down to it, true enough, like, their spirit could not stand me, and they couldn't process that shit. So they would continue to be around me, but at the same time would talk about me.
Time where you realized a good friend wasn't actually your friend.
I had to ponder a little bit if I was going to share this story, because this one is a little fucked up. But then I decided to share. So, story time. Okay, this is a prime example why you cannot be friends with someone who is jealous of you. This is back when I was 18 years old and I was hanging out with a girl who I thought was my best friend. We had been friends since I was in 6th grade. It was she and I and her boyfriend, and we went to go hang out at someone's house. They were trying to get me to talk to this guy who I really wasn't attracted to, but they were extremely persistent about it. I mean, the guy was kind of funny looking and definitely not my type, so it wasn't happening. We all get in the car. I don't know where we were going. Can't remember. It was my friend, my best friend, her boyfriend, and the guy that I didn't want to talk to. Her and her boyfriend kept trying to pressure me to talk to the guy, and I didn't want to. So I finally put my foot down and said, no, I don't want to talk to him, and made it really clear that I was not about to talk to this guy. So here comes the fucked up part. When the guy realized that I had absolutely no interest in him, he turns to my friend and her boyfriend and tells them, get this, give me my money back. Yeah, he told them to give him his money back. So essentially, my best friend and her boyfriend were trying to trick me out. Stay the fuck away from bitches who are jealous of you. It'll never work. They'll always be plotting behind your back.
Friend.
Yes, unfortunately. So I was friends with this girl from, I want to say, maybe like kindergarten. And met this dude like later on in life. I think I was maybe like 16, 17. Really thought I was in love. Of course, I was young and I was stupid, but whatever. So to shorten the long story, talked to this dude, was in love with him. We ended up breaking up because, of course, he was trash. He used to always tell me that this one friend in particular was not my friend. Never really paid attention to it. I ignored it a lot of times until she got pregnant. And, of course, you know, we're best friends. She's like, hey, you want to be my baby's godmama? Hell yeah, I want to be a baby's godmama. I love kids. We besties. So then whenever she was about 1 or 2, I found out that her dad was my ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
Was it actually a friend family edition?
So I was going with this guy. He was older, right? And I didn't tell my family about him because of the fact that he was older, and I ain't want to hear what they had to say. So at a funeral, my cousin, who I was hanging with really, really hard and heavy, because I don't have friends, I hang out with my family, she proceeds to tell me that she had met my boyfriend and that she now goes with the cousin. Okay, now mind you, we at the funeral. So went outside and I called him like, hey, you know about this? And he like, yeah, I hooked them up or whatever. So I'm like, all right, you know, Mr. Matchmaker in heaven. So I had ended up, she called me, matter of fact, and asked me if I wanted to go see them together. So I'm like, shoot, yeah, you know, that'll be fun. You my cousin, you my best at this point, or whatever. We about to go get lit. You know, we only teenagers at the time, so we was about to go have fun. So I'm thinking like, okay, let's go. Y'all, we get over there. Why only one person walk out this house? One person walk out the house. He didn't even want to let us in. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, because I'm over here all the time, you know. So I'm like, why is you playing games? Like, you know, come outside. He didn't even want to come outside at first. So I'm like, well, where's the cousin? You know, where's your cousin at? Like, what's up? So whole time he was the cousin.
I'm like, yo, you is a snake. Now, I know y'all probably thinking like, okay, it's his fault. No, why my cousin try to fight me over him? Like, literally, like, oh no, like, this is my man. Like, I've been talking to him, and I'm like, well, what's his name? Because I know his name. Like, I've been with him for like a year and some change or whatever. What's his name? Oh, she say some other stuff. She saying his cousin name. I'm like, wait a second. So this whole time you mean to tell me that he told you that he was his cousin? I don't even understand how the fucking story even came about. Like, I just was like confused that my own cousin was trying to fight me over a dude that I already had. Like, honey, I was confused. Like, we was just standing there and she's squaring up, and I'm like, wait a second now. Woo, it ain't that serious. We don't do that. We don't fight over no thing. I need to listen. I dipped. I left. I did not listen. I'm not with none of that shit.
If you found the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround myself